The TV host tried to humiliate Joker with a surprise judge. The plan backfired instantly. People say the world changed the night a laughing man walked onto a brightly lit stage. But the truth is, the world had already been breaking long before he smiled. It started as a harmless talk show stunt. A host hungry for ratings, a surprise judge hiding behind a perfect suit, and a man they believed they could publicly tear apart for entertainment. They thought the Joker would be the joke. They thought they were in control. They were wrong. Because sometimes the most dangerous person in the room isn't the one holding the microphone. It's the one who knows the truth no one else is willing to speak. And on that stage, under those blinding studio lights, a trap meant to humiliate him slowly turned into the moment he decided to teach the world a lesson it would never forget. Before we begin this dark, emotional journey, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps us create more stories that pull you into the shadows, where nothing is ever as it seems. The studio air was cold, unnaturally cold, the kind that seeped into a person's bones, making them shiver even under bright stage lights. The audience murmured with a mix of excitement and unease as the cameras rolled, unaware that the night they thought would bring them entertainment would instead carve a scar into the city's memory. Joker sat in the guest chair, legs crossed, fingertips tapping the armrest with a rhythm only he understood. He wasn't wearing the wild grin people expected from him. Instead, he carried a quiet, unsettling calm, a kind of silence that felt more dangerous than madness. He knew he wasn't invited here for conversation. He was invited here as a spectacle. The host, Brandon Hale, smiled that plastic smile talk show hosts trained for years to perfect. It never reached his eyes. "Ladies and gentlemen," Brandon announced, "tonight we have a special guest joining us, someone who claims he has evidence against our city's most respected leaders." The audience clapped, but their applause stuttered when they turned toward Joker. Even in stillness, he had the presence of a fault line, the kind that could split the ground open without warning. Joker tilted his head, his voice soft. "Claim? Oh, Brandon, you're already nervous." Brandon's jaw tightened at the familiarity of Joker using his first name. He continued the rehearsed monologue, pretending not to hear. "And to verify whether your accusations are truth or delusion, we have brought someone very special, someone who knows you, someone who studied your patterns for years." The studio doors opened. A man in a tailored black suit walked in, carrying a leather file like it was a weapon. His hair slicked back, his expression composed, his eyes sharp enough to cut steel. The audience whispered his name. Dr. Elias Mercer, the city's celebrated forensic psychologist, the man whose testimony had helped put dozens of criminals behind bars. He walked toward Joker with a quiet arrogance, as if he were here not to assess a man, but to dismantle him. Joker's lips curled into a slow, unsettling smile. "Oh, him." Mercer didn't greet him. He simply sat down across from him, legs crossed, posture perfect, face emotionless.
"I've been asked," he began, "to determine whether you are telling the truth about your so-called evidence, or if you're simply seeking attention."
Brandon smirked at the audience, confident the trap had been set. Joker leaned forward slightly. "You want the truth? Then stop treating this like a circus." His tone changed, from playful to disturbingly intimate. "You brought the wrong man to judge me." Mercer's eyebrow lifted a fraction. "Is that so?" Joker shifted his gaze directly into the psychologist's eyes. The room felt suddenly smaller.
"You shouldn't have come, Elias!"
A ripple of confusion moved through the audience. Brandon straightened, unsure.
Mercer didn't flinch. "Please, enlighten us." Joker clasped his hands together, almost politely.
"You remember 5 years ago? A city grant worth $26 million? Disappeared overnight. Authorities blamed a cyber theft, but the money didn't vanish. It was hidden, then washed, then cashed."
Mercer's jaw flexed, but he didn't speak. Joker leaned back, smiling softly. "You were the one who signed the psychological clearance forms for every fake nonprofit that benefited from it. Quite the humanitarian work, Dr. Mercer." The host's smile cracked. The audience murmured. Mercer's fingers twitched, the first sign of emotion. Joker continued, voice low and razor-sharp. "You want to judge me? Fine, but let's not pretend you're a saint holding a candle in the dark. You're just someone who learned to hide his crimes better."
Brandon cut in quickly. "Mr. Joker, these are serious accusations. You can't
Serious? Joker snapped. Brandon, you brought a man who should be sitting in a courtroom, not a talk show.
Mercer's calm finally faltered. "You have no proof." Joker smiled with teeth. "Didn't say I didn't." The studio lights flickered. A technician shouted from backstage that the power systems were malfunctioning. Brandon waved his hands, trying to maintain control of the show, but control was already slipping through his fingers. Joker slowly reached inside his jacket, and for a moment the crowd gasped, expecting a weapon.
Instead, he took out a small, worn notebook.
He placed it on the table between them. A single page inside was marked with a folded corner. Mercer froze. Joker whispered, "That's the page you're afraid of, Elias." Brandon swallowed. What's on that page?" The Joker didn't look at the host. His eyes stayed locked on Mercer, who was now visibly rattled, color draining from his face. "Let's just say," Joker murmured, "it reveals what happened to the man who discovered the Grant theft before I did." Silence. Thick, heavy, terrifying.
Mercer slowly stood up, breath unsteady.
The audience watched, confused, tense, unsure whose side they were supposed to be on. Joker chuckled softly. "Leaving already, Doctor? The show hasn't even started." Mercer took one step back, and that was all it took. A man the city trusted, running from the one person he claimed to understand. Brandon tried to salvage the moment. "Security!" But the studio door slammed shut on their own, an electric lock triggering. The audience gasped. Joker sighed dramatically. "Relax. If I wanted chaos, you'd already know." He turned toward the cameras, smile sharp enough to bleed. "Tonight, I'm not here to start trouble."
He tapped the notebook.
"I'm here to finish a story your city has been too afraid to tell."
The lights dimmed.
The host panicked. Mercer vanished into the shadows of the backstage corridor, and Joker whispered into the microphone, voice haunting and calm.
Part 2 begins when I decide who deserves justice.
The studio hallway stretched long and dim, lit only by low emergency strips that painted the floor in pale red. The cameras were still rolling inside the main room, but here in the corridor, every footstep echoed like a confession. Dr. Elias Mercer was no longer the controlled, polished expert the city admired. His breaths were uneven, his pupils wide, his composure shattered by a single worn notebook that should not have existed anymore. But Joker followed him slowly, not rushing, not threatening, simply walking with the kind of confident rhythm that let the world know he already understood how this would end. "You know," Joker said softly, his voice drifting down the hallway like a ghost, "I don't like running. Never saw the point. If you run from the truth, it catches you anyway." Mercer stopped. He didn't turn around. His voice wavered. "You don't understand what you're doing." Joker chuckled. "Elias, that's the best part. I understand exactly what I'm doing." Back in the studio, Brandon Hale tried to regain control of the broadcast, forcing a smile while sweat clung to his forehead. "Folks, don't worry. This is all part of our special segment." Joker's voice echoed from backstage through the speakers, interrupting him. "No, Brandon, no more lies. Tonight, the city gets a show it didn't pay for." The audience froze, the host's face drained of color. Joker reached the trembling doctor and leaned against the wall casually, as if discussing evening plans. "You loved acting like the city's moral compass. But when no one looks closely, a compass can be rigged, can't it?" Mercer swallowed, eyes darting toward the exit door at the end of the hall. "You don't have real evidence. That page... Oh, the page is just a souvenir." Joker waved a hand dismissively. "The real evidence? Already with someone who doesn't know how to lie to cameras." He tapped a finger to his temple. "A witness with a memory so perfect, even you couldn't erase it." Mercer's face twitched. "You're bluffing."
Emma. Joker tilted his head. "Because unless you're running toward the truth, you're running from a ghost."
Something broke inside Mercer.
He suddenly bolted toward the exit, shoving through the hallway, desperate for escape. Joker didn't chase him at first. He simply watched.
"Running again," he whispered. "That's your first mistake."
Only after Mercer reached the end of the hall did Joker follow, but not with speed, with intention. Each step felt like the slow pull of a noose tightening.
Outside the exit door, the rain hit the pavement like shattered glass. Mercer stumbled into the alley behind the studio, hands shaking, eyes wild. He scanned the dark corners as if expecting someone, or something, to emerge. Joker stepped into the doorway behind him, framed by the flickering alley light. "You want to know the part you always miscalculated, Elias?" he said softly.
"You thought I was chaos, but chaos isn't stupid. Chaos watches."
Mercer turned, voice cracking. "You don't get to judge me." Joker raised an eyebrow. "Then why do you look like a man terrified of his own verdict?"
Rain dripped from Mercer's hair, his suit soaked, his mask of professionalism collapsing entirely.
"You have no idea what I had to do," he hissed. "The people who handled that grant, they were powerful, dangerous. If I didn't play along—"
Joker stepped closer. "So you became them."
Mercer flinched.
Inside the studio, Brandon was speaking hurriedly to the production team, trying to cut the broadcast, but every command was met with the same chilling response.
"The system won't shut down." Joker had ensured that long before he stepped onto the stage. Back in the alley, Mercer backed himself into a corner. "If you expose me, they'll come after you. They'll come after everyone." Joker smiled softly, a smile without joy, without cruelty, simply understanding.
"I know."
Mercer's voice fell to a whisper. "Then why are you doing this?"
Joker leaned in, close enough that Mercer could feel the warmth of his breath against the cold rain.
"Because someone has to remind this city that monsters don't always sleep under bridges. Sometimes," he tapped Mercer's chest, "they wear suits and call themselves doctors."
Mercer's eyes filled with something Joker had seen in countless men before. The realization that the truth can't be outrun forever. Lightning cracked across the sky, and in that moment, something shifted.
Mercer lunged.
Not at Joker, but toward a metal pipe lying by the trash bins. His fingers wrapped around it instinctively, swinging wildly with the desperation of a cornered animal. He missed. Joker didn't. He sidestepped with unsettling calm and caught Mercer's wrist mid-swing. Their eyes locked. For a brief moment, the storm seemed to pause, holding its breath. "You've already written your ending," Joker whispered. "I'm just here to read it aloud." He twisted the pipe free and let it fall uselessly to the ground. Mercer crumpled to his knees, defeated. "What do you want from me?" he whispered. Joker crouched beside him. "A confession." Mercer shook his head. "Even if I confess, they won't believe you." Joker smiled, not in triumph, but in tragedy.
That's why the cameras are still rolling.
Mercer's breath stopped. He slowly looked up toward the red light on the studio's backdoor camera, the one he hadn't noticed. It blinked steadily, broadcasting everything live. Joker stood, adjusting his jacket. "You judged me on national television, Elias. Now it's your turn." Mercer stared up at him with horror, realizing the city had just watched the fall of its celebrated psychologist. Joker turned to leave, stepping back into the studio doorway as the rain softened behind him. But before he disappeared inside, he whispered one final line, a line that would echo through the city for years. "I don't create chaos. I reveal it." The camera feed suddenly cut. The screen went black, and somewhere in the dark, someone, unknown, unseen, switched off the final light. In a city where truth is treated like a dangerous secret, one man forced the world to look into the mirror it spent years avoiding. The Joker didn't come to prove he was innocent. He came to show everyone else what guilt really looks like. And sometimes the villain isn't the one laughing, it's the one hiding behind applause. If you want more dark, emotional stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring the shadows to life, one story at a time.